Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It is indeed a privilege and honor, first of all, for Jakarta to be hosting the U20, and part of that event is we are seeing the sign here, and it is part of our community to talk about sustainable mobility, and it is timely and it is a strategic approach that one should adopt. So allow me on this very occasions to express my appreciations to everyone involved here in arranging this partnership and in promoting the electrifications of our public transport. So Pak Stephen, I truly appreciate your role all these months behind the scene in making sure that this is happening. And allow me to also mention, John, you did mention at a remark that you used to be resident of Jakarta. Pak John Moore lived in Jakarta for a few years, so he experienced Jakarta when public transport was not yet a priority. And now we are converting our approach into a more transit-oriented and more public transport-oriented. Now, on these important occasions, as we will be witnessing the signing of that, allow me to share a little bit about some of the big pictures and why we're happy that this is happening and why we need to take this direction. Reason number one, we do not want other cities to go through the hard way that Jakarta has been doing for the past few decades. We have been a society where private vehicles dominated our mobility activities, and it has created traffic congestions everywhere and uncertainty of commuting. And in our belief, if we are able to do it here in Jakarta, we would love to share anything we're doing to anywhere in the country so that the rest of Indonesia doesn't have to face similar challenges. Well, that is the case. But in 2009, first time in the history of Indonesia where we have more people living in the urban area than in the rural area. That was 2009. And by now, we have 56% of our population living in the urban area. And it is projected by 2045, we will be, which is 100 years after our independence, we'll have 75% of our population living in the urban area. If we do not start now in building public transport, cities across Indonesia will be facing similar problems like what Jakarta has been facing, but they will be facing it in the future. We don't want that to happen. So experience what we had, and what we are suggesting is not to adopt, but to adapt. The difference is only a letter A and O, but it matters a lot, adaptation and adoption. We'd like to invite you to adapt to what Jakarta has been doing. And on top of what we have been doing, in which we try to develop our public transport, we would like to do it a leapfrog kind of things. Yes, we're moving to public transport. In the past few years, we are seeing the significant jump of our daily ridership that used to be around 350,000 per day in 2016. By 2020, reached 1 million daily ridership. That was a jump of 3 times in the period of less than 4 years. And I mentioned this repeatedly. If we are doubling our fleet, it simply means we have the fiscal capacity to procure more buses. But if we double and triple ridership, it means the populations were changing their mobility behavior. And that is the objective of our transformation. Because we are not only about expanding the fleet, we are talking about transforming our mobility here in Jakarta. And we are seeing that Right. How that can be done? I mentioned at the discussion yesterday here. Our approach in doing this must be rational. We cannot only echo altruism, idealistic idea that let's not use private vehicles because it's going to create congestion, it's going to pollute the air, and let's be idealistic and take public transport. If that is only the message, people are not converting. It has to be a rational choice. If you take public transport, it is more cost efficient, it is more predictable, it is convenient. In the bahasa Indonesia term, it's called terjangkau. Terjangkau in a few terms, terjangkau jaraknya, terjangkau harganya, dan terjangkau tujuannya. Meaning, how do I translate terjangkau? Because reachable is different. Apa nih Pak ini terjangkau? Terjangkau. Yeah, reachable, affordable, and you're able to reach everywhere in the city. So it can reach anywhere in the city. So we are making sure our target is anywhere in the city, wherever you stand, 500 meters from there, you'll be able to find buses or microbuses. So we have been doing that, and it is affordable because it is being integrated, and the integration include the routes, pricing or payment system, and also the management. And having that strategy, we have seen the transformation. Now, with regard to electric vehicles, the idea is instead of only moving from private vehicle to public transport, let's do it extra miles. From private vehicles into electrified public transport, because then we're doing it 2 steps ahead. And I think on that, we're grateful with the support of Bloomberg NEF. Why that is the case? Because with Bloomberg, we are able to learn best practices. We have access to research that has been done by Bloomberg NEF on the electrifications across the globe, so that we don't have to repeat others' mistakes. We will know the list of the do and the don'ts, and then we are able to practice in a better way. And then we have also access to Bloomberg NEF to share our experience to the rest of the world, and that is heavily needed. So when we are talking about transformation, let's not assume we know everything and we know every solutions. And our approach in the city has always been that way. We are a learner. We would like to learn. We're open-minded. If we do it in the wrong way, please tell us. We'll correct it, and we'll make sure it goes on the right way. So having a partner like Bloomberg NEF is truly instrumental. If I may ask you to give a round of applause to Bloomberg for assisting us on this journey. So that is also why with the challenge of Jakarta, electric vehicle, as much as this is good, we thought for Jakarta it fits better to have electrified public transport, not only electric vehicles. Because the tendency is this. How many of you own electric vehicles here? How many? Yes, 1, 2, Pani, 2. But the Jakartans, yes, the London, so you're fine. You have you work for Bloomberg NEF. You better have electric vehicles. You'll be in trouble otherwise. But here's the tendency that we are seeing. If I purchase an electric vehicles, it is less likely I will let go my previous car. What happened is I'm adding additional car into my household. And with that, Jakarta will have more cars on our road. Okay? And that's why for us here in Jakarta, promoting electric buses is our priority, even though we are giving incentive. So if you have electric vehicles, then you're free of transfer tax, and you are not subject to ganjil and genap regulations. So we give that incentive. However, if we are asked about what would be the priority, our priority would be electrified public transport to reduce the number of vehicles on our roads. We do not want to see more cars on our roads. We are not seeing electric vehicles as a substitute yet. We are still seeing this as a complementary vehicles instead of a substituting means of transport. And I think the national government perhaps should do something about it. If you add additional car, then your previous car must be let go. Otherwise, you should double or triple the taxes. So because otherwise, this incentive is not there for you to keep the cars. So that's sort of the big idea, the big pictures of our journey in Jakarta. And we're truly happy with the progress, thanks to the good leadership in the Transjakarta. The teamwork has been very good, and then reaching out not only domestically but internationally, we're grateful with that. And also the partnership with Bandung, with West Java. I understand you all are facing similar challenge to us in the earlier stage. Even though sometimes most of your traffic is also contributed by commuter coming in from Jakarta to Bandung. And we populated your area over the weekend. And actually over the weekend we're happy because some are going to Bandung and Puncak, and we are seeing that. However, we do hope that this will create a model that others will follow. This is what movement is called. There is an anecdotal stories about this movement, Pak Anim. Often we offer glorified leadership. Often we said that a movement was created because of great leaders. And actually, if you look at stories across the globe about movement that is happening, it is not the leaders that actually started the movement. The movement was created because of the first few followers. You may have a strange idea, you may have a crazy idea, but if everyone else is following you, it becomes contagious. So it doesn't matter who started. What matters is who is the second, who is the third, who is the fourth, who is the fifth. That's what makes contagious. So we thank West Java for continuing our path, because then it can become a movement. Then it can become a movement. In Islam, there is that story of As-Sabiqun al-Awwalun, the first friends of the prophets. That's what has created that to become a movement as well. And models is everywhere. So we do hope with West Java step into this journey, embarking together. We hope more are joining, and we also would like to thank Pak Anim for being a pioneer on this journey, for working really hard, going through various different layers of bureaucracy to make sure that electric vehicles can be manufactured here, can be built here. It's not an easy job. When he make a remark, the remark is only 10 to 15 minutes, but the work he had to put before that remarks can take place is years and years of work, and so many people are involved. So, we thank you. I had a conversation with Biden many years ago about his dream of contributing to a better environment in Indonesia, a better quality of air. And without entrepreneurs with noble idea, we will not be having this session, we will not be having this change. I think it is time for us to see more and more of our entrepreneurs upholding noble ideas, just like Michael Bloomberg did it. That convert into action. The difference with many of us is that, like Pak Anin, he has the idea, he has the willingness, and he has the resources. And that's what can make a difference. So we in Jakarta truly appreciate the partnership. I remember when we were doing the model, Pak Anin were preparing the model for our electric buses to allow our residents to experience electric buses. And it is not simply about business model. This is a modern way of looking at business in which 3P matters. People, planet, then profit. But people, planet come first. And I think Pak Anin have shown that leadership. We truly appreciate, and we look forward to continuing that partnership. So with that, allow me to end my remarks. And again, thank you to everyone who has been involved in this noble endeavor. We hope this is a new beginning, not only for the partnership between West Java and Jakarta, which we have had partnership, but a new beginning for a better quality of our life, a more livable cities, more livable regions for everyone. Thank you.